right, welcome back to another episode of the Carter Cast. I'm your host, Carter Vaughn. On today's show, it's just Dylan and I, and we begin the podcast. I had Vikings plus 13.5 at halftime, and we watched the ending of that one, live reaction, and then we recap all the NFL games from this past weekend, and we do a brief preview of the week 3 games. Nothing too in-depth, just initial thoughts, what we like, what we don't like, and we'll get into a huge in-depth thing on Thursday night, Friday morning, and it should be a 4-man pod on that one as well. And then we also recap the big college football games from this weekend, my time in Oregon at Autzen Stadium while BYU got just destroyed, absolutely spanked by Oregon, and my game of the year fail. Awful weekend across the board for the podcast, if we're being honest. And then we closed talking initial college football week 4 lines, what we like, what we don't like, same thing about the NFL. And we'll get into all the in-depth stuff coming this Thursday or Friday. Make sure to follow the TikTok and all of us on Twitter. Awesome clips coming, and pics, blogs, and all that on cartercast.com. Make sure to check that out. And I hope you guys enjoy today's show.
What's your timestamp at?
My timestamp is 3:05, 32. I can't see anymore. They're just showing the replay. Okay. All right. Well, I don't know if I'll post this recording or not, but if we do, I have Vikings plus 13.5. Just need a garbage touchdown from the Vikings. 3:05 left. They're driving on the Eagles, or on their own 41. Let's go, Irv Smith. Come on. You dropped a touchdown earlier.
That was atrocious. I texted Jagan right after that. That's another thing about the over that made me so mad. That was another reason why the over should have hit. That was a touchdown right there.
Also, or they should have just returned the block kick, or the kick should have just gone in. Like, just missing points left and right.
Or take away 3 interceptions.
Yeah, that's not good.
They just,
oh my gosh, just get the first down. Stop dancing. Let's go. Come on.
It's like Juju. Oh, we'll have a 2-minute warning too. Okay, so
we're getting to the close to the 2-minute warning. 2:20 left. 1st and 10 for the Vikings on the Eagles 48. Come on, Kurt, get it moving. Let's go, buddy. Come on. Prime time's over. You don't have to sweat anymore.
Wow.
Gosh, let's go. Come on. Kurt,
this is huge.
On the Eagles 35. Come on. 2-minute warning. All right, we got time. We're going to talk about this. Let's go. This might get posted, actually. I mean, live reaction to a garbage play.
So Vikings plus 2.5 can cover if they score a touchdown, go for 2, then onside kick, score another touchdown.
Let me do math. Oh, going for 2 is fine. That doesn't matter. They just got to score the touchdown.
Oh, you're right. That would mess you up.
No, we're fine. 24-13 would be the score if they get a touchdown. We're chilling. Yeah, we're chilling. We don't. That's fine. I'll take it.
We need O'Connell to put his big boy Rams pants on and go for 2.
Oh yeah.
And also, no passes to Osborne.
I wouldn't be upset if Dalvin Cook or Justin Jefferson caught a touchdown. Oh my gosh. Ooh,
or Thielen. I'd feel good if Thielen got back in there. He's getting up there in age.
Oh,
give him a little flashback.
Well, while we're in a 2-minute warning, I mean, this is going to be the opening of the podcast for sure. While we're in the 2-minute warning, let's just talk about this game real quick. Just recap it. This game sucks. The Vikings suck. Kirk Cousins' classic primetime game. Jalen Hurts looked awesome in the first half. Didn't really do much in the second half. If this is not a Kirk Cousins primetime game, we're going to see the Eagles blow so many leads this year. I mean, we almost saw it against the Lions, and that's why I was like, oh, Vikings plus 13.5. All right, they're going to blow that lead. They did it last week. They'll do it again, but they'll still cover their original spread. They can't maintain a lead unless it's Kirk Cousins pooping his pants.
Yeah, and then with the Eagles, you have to think, like, were they possibly maybe throwing it in cruise control? It's unlikely, but I mean, this has just been an atrocious game. And, you know, the one game I taken over, we have a drop touchdown. I mean, clear touchdown, 60, 70 plus yard touchdown.
I don't know what's going on in Minnesota right now, but I've never seen more drop passes, drop catches, whatever, in a game.
It's crazy. And you know, the one time I taken over, it's this game, and I took it midweek, and like I was telling you before, I knew by noon that it was over because the total dropped to like 49. I had it at 50.5. I was like, this no shot this goes over.
Yeah, I mean the thing is though, like I wasn't meant to do unders. The first one I ever did, and the first one I've done in a long time was Western Kentucky, Indiana. Brutal.
Oh, yeah. That's tough.
Mm-hmm. Went to overtime. I didn't get to see it. That was at the BYU game, unfortunately. Uh, you know, but all
The
right, come
Titans
on,
are
get
dead to
back
me
to the
now
game.
too, so we got the defense hat instead of the Titans hat now.
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Titans, Panthers. Misery sure does love company. Oh, let's get what the ESPN. You can't just do that. You can't just like, oh, all of a sudden we're just not going to show the game.
Right back in. All right, come on.
Let's go. Come on. Garbage touchdown. That's all we need, and then we can just
What
turn
the heck
off.
was that throw?
Oh, you're ahead of me. No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh.
It's like a hook shot.
Oh, okay. That's fine. I don't know. Pause it for like 2 seconds. 1, 2, 3, go. Okay. I'm at 127, 126, 125, 124, 3, 2.
All right, we should be even now.
Okay.
We should be pretty close.
Go!
Come on. Let's go. Get it for Carter, baby. Come on.
Come on, baby. All right. If you're listening right now, obviously you can't see the game. They're on the 10-yard line, the Eagles' 10-yard line. A minute left, first and goal. Just need a garbage touchdown. Garbage touchdown for the plus 13.5. Come on, baby.
Preferably not to KJ Osborne.
I'll just do it to. Oh. No! Okay. Oh, gosh.
Wow.
I thought it was a pick.
Wow. That would be the most Kirk Cousins thing to do. That.
Let's see this. Oh, dude. Oh my
gosh. It was right. It was right there for him.
How did he drop that? Was that a pick?
No.
We're good. We're safe.
No, yeah, that's not.
We're good.
He was out of bounds.
Oh my gosh, dude. Kirk Cousins, dude. All right, come on. Empty backfield, 53 seconds left, second and goal.
Don't give it to
Jefferson in motion. Oh gosh, that's an awful play. You lose a yard. I just scored the touchdown for everything that is holy. Come on, we got 2 more plays. Third and goal. Clock is just winding. They don't give an F, dude. Go. Come on. All right, empty backfield. 25 seconds left. Third and goal on the 11. Come on. All right, Kirk Cousins.
Oh, that's so
Hurry,
Kirk, too.
To the line.
Use the timeout.
To the line. Timeout. Time. Oh, God.
No way.
Not
no
way.
way. They're going to let it go.
Not in this way. No, just don't show the replay while the clock is going down, ESPN. No. Gosh. Oh, they didn't even. Oh, F the Vikings.
Jagan just texted and said, great game.
Oh, my. Like, why were we even going for the touchdown in the first place? Screw you, Kirk Cousins.
That's bad. That's. Whew.
Oh my gosh!
Really bad day in the Wilkerson household.
Just put a freaking icing on the cake of a terrible weekend, man. Holy crap!
So, let me see.
That's awful. That's awful.
To add a bit of insult, well, I had a parlay that I put in Action Network that I could not get in at our book that hit 3-leg plus 806. All receiving props, could not get it in at the book. Yeah, that's
what just an awful night. What an awful weekend. All right, let's just get right into the podcast. Let's just start it out. The Vikings suck. We already talked about them. I don't even want to talk about them anymore. I don't even know if the Eagles are good. I just think the Vikings suck. It was classic Kirk Cousins prime time. There's whatever, you know. It's
football. Football's back, baby.
New season, same story. Let's get into something else that's miserable. Bills won 41-7.
Yeah, that's a good piece to start on, Carter.
Against your sweet Titans.
Yeah, I'm done with them. Actually, I showed you earlier. This is my Titans hat normally. I took an over I shouldn't have tonight, and the Titans are really bad, so now it's a defense hat. I will never take a primetime over again. That was the dumbest thing I could have ever done. And the Titans are bad. I don't know if I don't know why, because on paper the roster, the roster looks beautiful with all those names, but for some reason losing by 1 to the Giants, I thought it was a fluke. It turns out might not be a fluke. And Malik Willis did not look great when he came in. Hassan Haskins was fine. He got a couple 3-4 yard runs, exactly what he was supposed to do in that position. I'm all in on Michigan. All my eggs are in the Michigan basket right now because the Titans are not doing it. I think the Volunteers could beat the Titans right now. The Volunteers are the best team in Tennessee.
Oh my goodness. I mean, it was like the Titans were kind of there, and then just boom, the doors just got blown off.
And it's that defense. It's always been the defense, and we've spent so much time and so much money trying to improve the defense, and the defense never improves. They still can pass all over us. Tannehill throwing the interceptions at this point, it's just inexcusable. He's like Cade McNamara, but throws interceptions because he's not going to have the 400-yard game. But he's going to have anywhere between like 200, maybe 325 yards, couple touchdowns. But if he's going to throw those 3 or 4 interceptions, it negates the whole thing. So I don't want to homer it up, but I'm upset with the Titans right now. I bet them for next week it was a pick 'em against the Raiders, and the new line is not up yet. And I'm really worried that it's going to be like, I know I'm going to get a bad number with what I had, but I'm worried it's going to be huge and I'm going to be caught in a pickle.
I don't know. The Raiders lost to, I think it'll be like Raiders by 2.5. But yeah, man, the Titans, they stink. I mean, there's no way to put it. Like Brian could not have been more right about the AFC South. The Jags should be like plus 150 to win the AFC South. I think they're still 3-1. They should probably be in that plus 150 range because I mean, the Colts will probably win it. We're probably overreacting to the Colts.
You're exactly right. Yeah, the Colts will pick it up.
But I mean, the Texans, they look better than the Titans, for crying out loud. Is it tank season?
I don't know. Who do we tank for? I don't know who we tank for. I mean, we have Malik Willis is
CJ
supposed to be the next guy. Yeah, right. I would not root for the Titans anymore. The last thing any NFL team should want on the roster is an Ohio State quarterback because they get to the pros and they all stink. Justin Fields, Exhibit A. I mean, we could go JT Barrett. He's selling signed jerseys up at the Columbus Mall. He's not even sniffing the league. We got Ohio State quarterbacks all atrocious, and the greatest quarterback of all time did not go to Ohio State. That's just what I'll say.
Yeah. Also, last thing on the Monday night game. I mean, look, they were both blowouts. The one thing I will say, though, like, yeah, nothing really went in our favor tonight besides the first game. I did all right, but the thing I like about this Monday night is I'm a big fan of both games being on at the same time. As someone who is in a 2 TV household who has that ability, it is amazing because I cannot stand commercials, and Thursday Night Football on Amazon was it's just one giant commercial. That's all it was. It was 60 to 70% of the night was just commercials. So I'm a big fan. It was great. Like one game was kind of done. I could watch over here, and then I could flip back over here. Even though the last quarter and a half of the Titans-Bills game was a preseason game.
Yeah.
But still,
I'm kind of half and half with you on the double Monday night game because I am a fan of, having a commercial. If I'm eating something, having a little break to be able to, fill the stomach back up. True. Because if I have something on the game or if the Titans are playing, I'm going to be invested while the game's going on. And then I'll have to, get my drinks and get my food during, halftime or the commercial breaks or whatever.
That's fair. And especially if it's your team, it really sucks. You don't like it if it's your team, but I kind of liked it. Like, I think because there's quite a few of these this season, right?
I think so. I think most of the Monday nights that are like that. So we'll see. What we need is I've been hearing stuff about YouTube TV doing the split screen, and we don't have that yet.
When are we getting that?
Can we speed that up? People at Google, come on, let's speed that up.
I know we're getting killed out here.
We're like week 4 in college already.
Yeah. Okay, let's recap these NFL games and then let's start off. I mean, we did the Monday night ones already. Let's start off with the craziest one. It was the Dolphins and the Ravens. I mean, the Ravens were up 28-3, and then the Dolphins. Tua looked unbelievable. And then if you're playing against Jalen Waddle, Tua, or Tyreek Hill, your team just got smoked, even if you had Lamar Jackson like myself. Is Tua good?
I'm Team Tua, and I've been Team Tua for a while. I think it took him a year or two to get acclimated with the league, but the one thing that I don't like about Tua is how awkward it looks when he throws because he's left-handed, right? So what I have to do is I have to record the game and then flip it on the y-axis, so that way it looks like he's throwing right-handed.
Yep.
It's some of the most beautiful passes I've ever seen, Carter.
Yep. I will. Yep. 100%. There's a video going around on Twitter right now. They just flip the screen and you see him throwing right-handed. I'm like, oh my gosh, like he looks like a mix of like Philip Rivers and Drew Brees. The way he
like
throws that
a
ball.
melanin-rich Joe Montana, a little bit more melanin, but looks beautiful. Yeah. No, the Dolphins went out and they did their thing in the offseason, signing Tyreek Hill. They lost Devontae Parker, but he hasn't proven to be quite a big loss yet because he hasn't done much for the Patriots. But they're, Gesicki's a great tight end. I have them to win the AFC East like we were talking about before, but with the Bills in that division, there's always the question of, they looked pretty dominant the first two games. I like the Dolphins. I think they're going to be good. I think they make the playoffs, but AFC East, it's going to be tough to beat the Bills. We'll see next week.
It's crazy that the Ravens don't blow these leads. They just don't.
No. And the Lamar Jackson, he's playing for money right now too. That's the thing. He really showed Baltimore why they need to pay him his money, and they should, to be honest with you. I mean, he's a generational 100%. Talent. And he's another, or the Ravens are another team that I think I have them to win the AFC North. I think they're really going to show out this year. So that was an amazing game to watch, and I can't remember what they were on the live money line, but I can't imagine someone live betting that when they
would have to be much. Plus 2,000, right?
Oh, it would have to. I would think so. At least 4 digits guaranteed, and it was a crazy game to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, halftime of the Vikings Eagles, the Vikings I think were like 8-1, but anyhow, let's move on. Buccaneers Saints, what a gross game. Like I knew this would be gross, and it came out that Jameis is playing with broken ribs or not even having ribs. Kamara's out and half the Buccaneers are out. Brady sucks. I mean, Brady stunk in that game besides 2 like really nice throws, and that was it. All it took was 2 good throws. Jameis didn't have 2 good throws in him.
He had a lot of bad ones. He had like 3 or 4 interceptions. And that game I loved because I had the under. So at halftime when it was like 3-0 or 3-3, that was like one I didn't even have to worry about. I just watched the other games. It's always good when you have an under and you're watching Red Zone and you never see that game being played. One of the best feelings.
You could have said that about the Giants-Panthers game. We'll get into that one in a little bit. We'll get into that one later. Yeah, I mean, but the Saints, I think the Saints are clearly frauds. I mean, they almost lost to they should have lost to the Falcons. I think the Saints are going to go 6-11, 7-10. The NFC South is going to win at 10-7, 9-8. And
I don't hate that. And then the Bucs are obviously the front runner there. I've always been a big Jameis guy. I like the it's probably not right, but I like the high upside, really low floor type deal, and that's what Jameis is. He can throw for 500 yards and have 4 interceptions, and we definitely saw the lower end of that this past Sunday. So I don't know, are we going to see that every time? Is that what's to be expected? I guess it's too early to tell, but I hope not. I like Jameis.
He'll probably have 500 next week against the Panthers, but let's move on. Jags shut out the Colts 24-0. The Colts, man, like Frank Reich is he next coach fired? He's creeping into that top 5.
We'll see that. I mean, the Colts were the favorite to win the AFC South going into the year. Right now, I mean, they have 1 tie and 1 loss. So, I mean, the Titans are 0-2. The Texans are 0-2. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. They opened up as like 3 or 4.5 point underdogs against the Chiefs, and now it's up to like 6.5. And I'll be honest with you, Carter, kind of like that. I kind of like the Colts at plus 6.5.
I like the Colts at plus 6.5 too. We were texting about this one. The Chiefs minus 6.5 is the most sucker bet of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody and their mother is going to have them in a money line parlay and a tease.
And it's, if history shows us anything, the Chiefs really are not the best team against the spread. They win the games, but they don't blow teams out, and that's tough to say after seeing the end score of the Chiefs Cardinals.
Yeah.
But I mean, going back 2 or 3 years, the Chiefs really don't blow out a whole lot of teams, and those bigger spreads, they don't always cover them.
Not at all. No, and we didn't even get to talk about the Thursday night game. What a miraculous cover by the Chargers. We deserved that one. We absolutely deserved that one. Moving on, we have the Pats barely beating the Steelers. Another just gross game where I think both teams stink.
Yeah, I want to add something real quick. Abby just texted me good night. We were watching the Titans game at Roosters. She just said, "Go Titans." Absolutely no way she saw the final score of that game. There's no way she paid attention after we left.
I was watching it. I was watching it with my lady too. The games tonight, and just like, good games. I'm like, the score's right in front of you. 41-7. Like,
what was the game you said, Carter? I'm sorry.
The
Steelers?
Exactly. Steelers Pats. I watched like maybe 3 plays from this game. Red zone barely cut to this game. Gross. I mean, this is a classic game. Like, yeah, Bill Belichick won. And that's the beauty of Bill Belichick. This Patriots team is terrible. And he's squeezing every ounce of what that team has every single week. I mean, because they are not good. Jacoby Myers is probably their number one weapon.
Well, at first glance, so I have Devontae Parker on my fantasy team. I didn't start him this week, but I would think that going in, Aguilar, he's fine. I think he had a touchdown last week, but Devontae Parker, he did fine for the Dolphins last year. I figured that he would be the one that they're going to, and it just hasn't been the case. But you're right, the Patriots aren't anything to write home about this year. Mac Jones, he gives me Cade McNamara vibes too. He doesn't really turn the ball over too much, but he doesn't. I mean, he's not going to pop off for you.
Mac Jones is like every other quarterback out there that we just saw tonight in Monday Night Football. I think Kirk Cousins is a little better than Mac Jones. I'll give him that. But I think Mac Jones is the exact same thing as Ryan Tannehill, the exact same thing as Baker Mayfield, Teddy Bridgewater, every Panthers quarterback to ever play for the Carolina Panthers, I guess. I mean, all these just like, okay, they're okay. They can win you a game if you have a really good defense and nice pieces around them, but they'll never win you a game on their own. Never.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And that's also one of those games, like I was looking at it, there's just 2 teams that you see match up and you think under. And that was one of them. The Steelers starting Mitchell Trubisky. Honestly, I don't think he's that bad of a quarterback. He's not great, but I saw those 2 and I was like, oh, that's going to be an ugly game.
Mitch Trubisky,
right. They never showed
add him to the category. Add him.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many of these guys that are just mediocre, average quarterbacks that people talk themselves into. Is like, oh, if he comes to our place, he'll be changed. No, he won't. The other the other consistent theme about all these guys, I think Kirk Cousins can have this ability to come back in games, but the rest of them, if they're down 10 points, just call the game. They're not coming back.
Yeah.
We're never going to see. I mean, Baker may have like a little bit. We saw it in the Browns. He tried to come back. It wasn't really on him. It went awful coaching. But we saw Baker kind of come back. Mac Jones will never come back from a 10-point deficit. Never. Whatever. I mean, that game was useless. Anyhow, Lions beat the Commanders 36-27. Lions are good. Lions are building a nice team. And once they get that quarterback, they're going to be that team like, oh, all right, like this team's legit.
I'm not convinced they even need a quarterback, to be honest with you, Carter. I know there's a lot of Jared Goff hate on my timeline a lot of the times, but he did take this team, to a Super Bowl, and I don't know. I think the addition of Aiden Hutchinson was big for their defense, and that's where they needed the most help because St. Brown, a great wide receiver. They have plenty of offensive weapons. It was that defense that could score.
Offensive line is out of control good.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Lions. I'm, kind of previewing. I like the Lions even going into next week against the Vikings, I don't know what that line's going to be. I have FanDuel up, but they still have games locked out. But it was at +7 before the game. I honestly kind of like that to a field goal, especially after how the Vikings just played.
I haven't really dug into the next week lines. We'll just do an instant reaction at the end of this. But
Okay.
let's do let's see here. Rams Falcons. Shout out Pick Central on Barstool. Dude, the Rams are they're not that bad team this year. Like they're gonna go 3-14, 4-13, whatever. I can't do math anymore with the NFL schedule. But they're not that bad. They're gonna be in every single game.
Marcus Mariota he's a starting caliber quarterback in the NFL too. Their offensive line, I remember game 1, the Falcons offensive line protected Mariota pretty well. I don't think he got sacked. And, they lost the game to the Saints in close fashion. But I'm with you. I don't think the Falcons are going to be that bad. You're exactly right. They may not win more than 6 games, but they're going to keep it close. They covered 10.5 against the Rams.
Yeah, if they're ever a double-digit dog, I mean, I like them.
And they have, Kyle Pitts, they haven't gotten him activated quite yet, but
he's a ghost.
Whenever they decide to.
He is a ghost.
Yeah, he's really just drawing defenders at this point. But, maybe they get him active and that might help their case a little bit.
The Rams, and this is the crazy thing, everybody drafting Cam Akers super high in their fantasy leagues. The Rams cannot run the ball to save their life. They're another team, they just will never keep a lead. Kind of like the Eagles, which the Eagles can run the ball, which is weird. Mm-hmm. If a team's a little frisky, the Rams are never going to be able to keep that lead.
And with the Rams, it really just seems like it's the Stafford Cup show so far. I have Cup on my fantasy
Allen Robinson got that 1 touchdown.
Yeah. It's interesting. The Rams are in an interesting case because they got blown out by the Bills too. It's really hard to tell if they are going to be the caliber of team that they were last year. Mm-hmm. At least after 2 weeks.
Okay, moving on. The Jets, what an awesome game. The Jets beating the Browns. Unbelievable. You're sitting there thinking, like, they're not actually going to do this. All of a sudden, it was 17-30 because Chubb just ran in that touchdown. We see it time and time again. These guys just don't fall down. If you have Chubb in your fantasy league, you're probably like, thank you. But and then Cade York misses the extra point. I remember a time he missed an extra point. I think it was the 2020 National Championship game. Blew an over for everyone. And then they're down 17-30. All of a sudden, you're just on red zone. All of a sudden, they're like, "Oh yeah, Jets 24, Browns 30," and you're like, whoa, wait, what? And then you see long touchdown, onside kick, and then you're like, "No way, Joe Flacco's actually going to do this. Joe Flacco is going to have a 13-point comeback in a matter of like a minute."
And that's the one thing that's like. That's where the experience comes into play. Honestly, if Zach Wilson is the quarterback that game and he's in that position, I'm not sure they make that comeback.
I'm sure they don't need to make that comeback because I think they would have been winning like 49-14, 49-7.
Really?
No,
that's no Cougar bias.
No. Obviously Cougar bias. No, I don't know about Zach Wilson. You just don't know. We haven't seen him. I want to say Zach Wilson will be the greatest quarterback to ever play football and that he'll eventually want a trade request to the Carolina Panthers and lead the Carolina Panthers to the Super Bowl. I want to say that, but I won't because I just don't know. Like last season is such a wash because we watched guys like Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence stunk last year. I mean, yeah. Whenever a rookie stinks, everybody's like, "Well, did you know Peyton Manning led the league in interceptions his rookie year?" Blah blah blah. They always use that same one. It's such an anomaly because usually most of these rookies are just actually bad players, or they just were in such awful situations. Trevor Lawrence looks good. I know he's not as great as we thought, but like he's slowly getting there. That like, oh wow, like this is the number 1 draft pick. This is the guy we thought we were getting. He was moving. He was throwing the ball. Zach Wilson, we just don't know yet. We just haven't seen anything, and he kind of had a similar season like Trevor Lawrence did, where no matter what, he was just doomed to fail last year. He's absolutely doomed to fail last year.
Yeah, and with the Trevor Lawrence part, like in all seriousness, bias aside, his head coach didn't help him for the first half of the year. I mean,
no, absolutely not. And I know you're like the whole Ohio State Michigan thing, and I know you're not even like biased because of that right now. But it was an absolute crap show down there. It was horrendous. Like no quarterback would have succeeded in that environment. I mean, just zero. We're gonna have the best HBO documentary in about 3 years from that Jaguars team, about the 2021 Jaguars.
Yeah, that was rough. And you're exactly right. It takes rookies a couple years to figure it out. And we're just seeing, like, in my opinion, we're seeing it just now with Tua. 2 or 3 years into the league, I think he's finally starting to catch a stride.
And he's also
Jalen Hurts
coming
is
off
another one.
yeah, and Tua's coming off a major hip injury too. That hip injuries are the number one death sentence in sports.
Mm-hmm. You're
Absolutely.
exactly right. Just takes a
Yeah,
couple
man.
years.
Awesome game for the Jets. That was sick. Screw the Browns. F the Browns fans. Can't stand them. But yeah, Jets 1-1. Maybe they'll make the playoffs. Maybe Zach Wilson leads them to a Super Bowl. Who knows? I'm just saying. Let's talk about a sad game. The Niners win, but it was definitely felt like a loss for all Niners fans. The Niners went 27-7 over the Seattle Seahawks. Trey Lance season-ending injury just got obliterated right there. And I'll pour one out for my man Brian real quick.
Oh, Brian.
Oh my goodness, that was that sucked. That sucked. It sucked to see. I feel so bad for. And then people on Niners Twitter is coming after Brian and I. They're like, oh, well, Trey Lance, he's not the guy. Like, it's Jimmy. It's always about Jimmy and all this. It's like, Jimmy's way better. Trey Lance, it's so mediocre. It's like, you've seen Trey Lance throw the ball like 15 times.
Yeah.
Realistically. You can't count last week. It was a monsoon. No quarterback could have even thrown the ball. We saw Jimmy Garoppolo play in a Bears monsoon 2-3 years ago, and the ball was flip-flopping like this. It was all you had the videos going around Twitter like crazy with Jimmy Garoppolo. No, Trey Lance was just put in a situation to fail so fast, and they're using him like a fullback. He was just once again doomed to fail, and that was the one situation in that draft where everybody thought, man, this is gonna be the spot. You want to land at the Niners. You want to be with Kyle Shanahan. You got the pieces around them. They are built to win right now. And then Trey Lance just somehow I mean, he would have been the odds-on favorite to probably be the best quarterback out of that draft because he's going to the best situation.
You're right, and it goes back to the rookie talk we have. People were hating on Trey Lance, but you don't know. You don't know until you're 2 or 3 years in. They are 2 or 3 years into that starting role. Now, I don't know what it's like to be a 49ers fan. I can't put myself inside their shoes, but I would have to think, and I'm not saying, like, obviously season-ending injury, very tragic. But now there is no question who the starting quarterback is. You have your starting quarterback. So you bear down, you stick with him, and you go try to win the division. You go try to win a Super Bowl. There is no more of this Trey Lance or Jimmy Garoppolo drama that's been happening since like the end of their season last year. Mm-hmm. I have to think there has to be something said for that. But it is very sad to see him injured because I think he was going to be pretty good. I think he still will be. I mean, he'll probably be the starter next year unless Jimmy G puts on a showcase, which I don't think anyone sees happening. But unfortunate, but for 49ers fans and maybe for the team, there is no more of that Trey Lance or Jimmy Garoppolo discussion. You all gather around Jimmy and you go try to win a Super Bowl.
The one counter to that, I agree with that, but the one counter is they knew Lance was the guy going in. It just sucks he doesn't get those reps. He doesn't get those live game NFL reps, which are so crucial. Also, I forgot to add Jimmy Garoppolo to the, Mac Jones, Teddy Bridgewater. He's a prime suspect number one. Mm-hmm. And then also Seahawks come back down to earth. They suck. We all knew they sucked. When you see Niners -9 after the Seahawks beat the Broncos and the Niners lose by 9 to the Bears, that just screamed, okay, Vegas knows Niners are going to blow them out.
Yeah.
Moving on, Cooper Rush beats the Bengals 20-17. Micah Parsons is unbelievable, but the theory is so true that if you're an NFL team and you lose in the Super Bowl, you're doomed to have a bad season next season. It's guaranteed. Every year, every team does it. The Panthers, they haven't recovered. The Falcons, gone. They're dead. The Eagles, they're finally back. They were awful for multiple years. They made a playoff here and there, but they were never back to anywhere near that form. The panic button has to be smashed if you're a Bengals fan, right?
Well, here's the thing, Carter. Here where I live, there are no more Bengals fans. They all showed up halfway through the season last year, and then they lose their first two games, and now everybody's ready to cheer on Ohio State. There are no more Bengals fans here.
Ohio State fans might be gone soon too. They look a little shaky.
And you know what? I know this. We're kind of switching to college here. All I hear about is Michigan's strength of schedule, right? Well, at least we shut out our teams. They let Akron score 21. Just saying.
Or
But
Toledo.
Sorry, Tennessee played Akron. I always get them mixed up. But you're exactly right. Bengals fans have to be worried. They thought that they made some improvements to that offensive line, and it's pretty obvious that they didn't. I mean, Joe Burrow's still getting sacked left and right. He had a bad game week 1, but, Joe Burrow is a good quarterback, and a couple bad weeks aren't going to define, what he has done and what he will do. So I'm not too worried about that, but they got to protect him. They got to protect him, and they got to step up that defense. Letting a backup quarterback do that to you is not.
And they
ideal.
also dropped like 4 picks. So
yeah, I mean,
Cooper Rush is, not good, and I wouldn't say he's not good. He's a top tier backup. I'll say that he's a top tier backup. When he comes into the game, when your quarterback gets hurt, you're not like, all right, well, I'm going to turn off the TV. This game's over. He can win you a game. He can come in and win you a game. All right. Raiders lose to the Arizona Cardinals 29-23. Unbelievable game. Kyler Murray just early in the season, we see it every year that Kyler Murray does these crazy moves. He runs, he does this. Eventually, he's going to get banged up. The Cardinals are going to be terrible. The Cardinals are going to finish 7-10. I'm not convinced by the Cardinals after this game whatsoever, but it also just proves to me that the Raiders are also going to be in for a long season as well.
Can't stop anybody. The Raiders can't. And it's the first 2 weeks have been pretty poor for them. They can score. Offensively, they have the weapons, and I'm not convinced that Derek Carr isn't that he's a bad quarterback. I think he's a fine quarterback. But their defense, they got to do something there if they want to have a chance at this. Starting off 0-2 and losing a divisional game, not a great start. So, I don't know.
Yeah, they rest in peace to anybody that had under 51.5 in that game.
Yeah.
Brutal beat. I wasn't involved in that one at all, but yeah, brutal beat. Moving on, we have the Texans losing by 7 to the Denver Broncos, 16-9. Gross game once again. Russell Wilson looks terrible. Nathaniel Hackett is getting Matt Rule should be like sending him flowers, because if Nathaniel Hackett was not coaching in the National Football League, Matt Rule would just be getting drugged 5 times harder by the national media. This is atrocious. Javonte Williams should be getting the ball 3 times as much as he's getting it. He only had 15 rushes, right? And he had 75 yards. He's averaging 5 yards per carry in this game. Just give him the ball. When Russell Wilson can't throw the ball, just give it to your running back that you can prove runs the ball and can do it well. Broncos, they're just stinky, man. They're just stinky.
I didn't watch much of the game, so I can't offer much valuable insight. Hate the Broncos colors. Anytime I see the Broncos playing, I automatically think under because of that nasty orange. And it's not Tennessee Volunteers orange. It's like that burnt. I don't know. Not for me.
Yeah, man. The Broncos. I did want to mention this. There is a lot of bad. I feel like this is one of the. I feel like previous years we've had it, but I feel like this year we're having like some of the absolute worst coaching we've seen in the NFL in a long, long time. Nathaniel Hackett,
Brandon Staley for the Chargers. He's toning back his going forward on fourth down.
Yeah, Brandon Staley. Everyone's like, yeah, he's this guy, and I don't know. Chargers were given a tough start. Raiders back-to-back divisional games in the hardest division of football. 1-1, you're not complaining. Not Brandon Staley, not really. But like Frank Reich looks awful. He can't do anything. That team looks terrible. Let's move along here. Like Belichick, Tomlin, their rosters are just so bad, and they're actually somehow winning games. So give them credit. That's what good coaches do. Matt Rule, get into Matt Rule in a second. Dayball winning games. New coach.
Yeah.
He looks good. But then Ron Rivera. Ron Rivera is gonna be. I would be surprised if Ron Rivera was the head coach of the Washington Commanders after this season. And then Arthur Smith, kind of a bad roster. Pete Carroll, bad roster. Zach Taylor, I mean, we're just saying bad. And Mike McCarthy's not a good coach either. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're winning games. Mike McCarthy's a terrible coach. Josh McDaniels is getting outcoached by Cliff Kingsbury. And then Nathaniel Hackett, don't even have to go there. We already went there.
Zach Taylor, he will be given a longer leash because of last year. But, I mean, you're right. 0-2 with the two teams that he's played so far. Not great.
Yeah, I mean, we could see an all-time. Mike Vrabel, he's in a bad spot. This is not on him. I know you're a Titans fan. You might be a little more screw Vrabel. I just don't think this Titans roster's that good.
In my eyes, he's set for a while. He outcoached Belichick in 2019 in the, I don't know if it was wild card, if it was divisional game, but I mean, he outcoached him big time. And he's taken this Titans team from absolutely nothing to, playoff contenders every year. So I think he's going to be given a longer leash, even if they have a down year this year. Got to get rid of Tannehill. Hate to say it, and they paid him too, which stinks. I mean, we paid Tannehill way too much money, but I digress. I think Vrabel's going to be around for a couple more years.
And then real quick here, Packers destroy the Bills, or the Bears, whatever. We knew that was going to happen. Every time you see that not the annual Sunday night Bill or Packers Bears, golly, I can't speak. Packers Bears, you just know it's going to suck. It's always going to suck. You're always like, you don't want to chase in that game, and you're just like, whatever. Like, I don't even care. You never keep that TV on in the fourth quarter of that game, on that Sunday night game.
I feel like I've watched that same game like in prime
for the
time
last,
for the past
7 years.
Yeah. I mean, I felt it, and I was watching it, and I got this major sense of deja vu. Like I do it multiple times a year.
All right. The one game I skipped over. The New York Football Giants defeat the Carolina Panthers 19-16. I'll let you go first.
So I got to sign this game. My pick was first quarter under 9 at FanDuel. It was under 7.5 pretty much everywhere else for about the same odds, which was weird. Panthers there for a while were dead to me because I was watching I did not watch the beginning of the game. I thought the Giants returned the kickoff to where they returned it, but it turns out I looked at the score. It was a muffed punt by the Panthers. The defense saved them big time, forced a field goal there. There was another fumble. The next drive held them to a field goal. It ended 6-0, so that was pretty big. But the Panthers are dead to me because of that. Their offense, their special teams, their defense is keeping them on life support in my eyes. But I can't even imagine how you're feeling because a close game, could not close it out. What, 16-19 you said was the final?
Yep.
Can't cover. I think it was 2.5. So I can't imagine. I know
Closed
you're big
at -1. Closed at -1.
Whew. And I know you're a big Matt Rule guy, or not a big Matt Rule guy. So I'm anxious to see what you have to say about that.
All right, let's talk about the game first. The game was just awful the whole time. I mean, it's like I said before about, I don't even know what we're talking about, but new season, same story. It's the same thing. And people last year, including myself, were like, all right, then it must be Joe Brady. Joe Brady's got to go. And then we're like, okay, it's Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold's got to go. Then it's Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield's got to go. We did it the season before. Teddy's got to go. At the end of the day, the one consistent theme across this franchise that has stayed the same throughout these last few years is Matt Rule. It's Matt Rule. Matt Rule is all. I don't want to say Matt Rule's awful, blah, blah, blah. It is mind-boggling that he has been given this kind of leash and showed nothing. A 3 BS wins to start the season last year that everybody knew were BS wins. Every single person knew. It was Sam Darnold playing against who was it? The Saints was a weird win, and the Saints aren't even that good last year. And then they played, who was it? The Texans. Texans sucked last year. They were like the second worst team in football. And then week 1, we barely beat the Jets, who were awful. Matt Rule, he's got to go. And let's do a little inside info segment right here. So I have a couple things about Matt Rule. First off, a little birdie told me this week about how Luke Kuechly, everyone's like, oh man, Luke Kuechly, like, why doesn't he get near the franchise more? Like, he loves the Panthers. Why is he always up in Buffalo? Little birdie told me, got some, hold up, let's see here. Holding it up right now for you. So a little birdie told me this week that Luke Kuechly doesn't go around Panther stuff hardly ever because he just can't stand Matt Rule. This is a very good source.
Did he retire after the 2020 season?
He retired after the 2020 season. No, I think it was after 2019. Because he didn't play the COVID year.
Okay.
And maybe it was 2018, actually. I can't remember. It was a while ago. Anyhow, and when he retires, and he retired because we changed the defense to a 3-4. That was the only reason he retired. Like, that's proof. We have video evidence that is proof. That is why Luke Kuechly retired, because we changed the defense to a 3-4. The greatest linebacker in Panther history had to retire because we wouldn't listen to him. It's just an atrocious organization. It's Charlotte sports, man. The Charlotte Hornets suck. Carolina Panthers suck. We're doomed to mediocrity. That's the slogan for all Charlotte sports. The Charlotte FC, they're what are they? The 9 seed, the 10 seed, just right outside the playoffs. We're gonna go 6-11, 5-12, and get a worse draft pick. I am fully on board. Tank season, 0-17. I'm out here pulling against the Panthers the rest of the season. Let's see what happens. I know it's only week 2. But I don't want to see Matt Rule on the sidelines anymore. And you know what it's going to take? An embarrassing 0-17 season with a roster with a decent coach could potentially take them to the playoffs. Matt Rule, I want 0-17 so bad. Just give me Bryce Young. Give me some sort of hope, because we need a clean slate. We have to stop using Flex Seal on the quarterback position. We're using Sam Darnold. We're using Teddy Bridgewater. We're using Baker Mayfield. I just posted in a Reddit thread. I guarantee you we're going to sign Ryan Tannehill next year. It's going to be, if Matt Rule is still our head coach, it's going to be either Ryan Tannehill or Daniel Jones will be starting week 1 for the Carolina Panthers in 2023. I can guarantee you that. It's just constant Flex Seal. Flex Seal is great for a little bit. It's not a long-term fix. Eventually, you just got to fix it. Do everything you can to fix it. Matt Rule's got to get fired. There's no other way around it. Anybody who said that Matt Rule should have been brought back for this upcoming season is inexcusable. Absolutely inexcusable. Because he showed no progress. Absolute zero progress. And I'm just rambling here, so I'll stop. I'll stop now. I've given my point, but
I wish Connor was here, because I would love to see you guys go back and forth with it. I would love to see you go then. It's like a little tag team, like WWE wrestling match. You guys tap each other in.
So a little story time. I had to watch the game in the car. I had to, hotspot to the iPad, do a little red zone. The NFL Sunday Ticket app sucks balls. Let's just go there first. And DirecTV is just thrown in the towel and be like, hey man, we're done. Like, we know we're not getting the deal next year. Y'all can suck it. Like, you already gave us your money. So NFL Sunday Ticket app is just atrocious. Done across the board. Canceling Sunday Ticket. I'm glad I pay the monthly fee. I'll just watch Red Zone, or I'll just go on Reddit streams. I don't care. I'm not paying $30 a month, whatever, for the student Sunday Ticket. First, I couldn't even watch half the Panthers game, but besides that, I'm watching NFL Red Zone. They're never showing the Panthers for obvious reasons, because we suck and we're never even close to the Red Zone. When they do, it's like Panthers fumble, Panthers fumble, Panthers fumble. Oh, here's a 3-and-out in the Panthers game real quick. And the game ended. I was just silent. I was just silent in the car. I couldn't. I was with the in-laws. Just an awful weekend across the board. We'll get into why it was even more awful when we talk about college football. Just an awful weekend across the board. And just to top it off with the Panthers losing to the freaking Giants, and you just knew it was happening. You knew Graham Gano was hitting a 50-plus yard field goal. You knew it was happening. You knew we weren't going to go down the field, and you knew when we punted the ball, we weren't getting it back.
Gano, like 17 fantasy points. Congrats to anybody that had him.
He hates the Panthers, and rightfully so. I hate the Panthers too.
So a couple follow-up questions. Number one, not a question, but I would sign off on that Tannehill acquisition. If Rule is interested, you could tell him to contact me directly at my offices, and we'll make that work. Because I don't care who you give us.
I've already booked Matt Rule a Spirit flight out of the Charlotte airport straight to Lincoln, Nebraska.
A Spirit flight. Oh my god.
He is getting a Spirit flight, and I'll pay for the Diet Coke on the flight. I'll pay for his $3 Diet Coke. I don't care. Anything to get him out of here.
And if he likes sunny and hot, I heard Arizona State's looking for a coach. So there you go. He has options too. That's the thing.
The problem with Matt Rule is I don't think he can go somewhere where it's too sunny, because he's the kind of guy that looks bad in sunlight, where he's having to do this the whole time. He's having to do that face the whole time in sunlight. I don't think Arizona State works out for him like that. Nebraska, take him, please. I'm begging. I will become a Nebraska fan. I will buy a Nebraska jersey if they take Matt Rule off our hands mid-season.
So you had mentioned tank season 0-17. My two questions are: number one, who would you want to take in the draft? And number two, who do you want as a new coach? Like, you want Urban Meyer?
Luke Kuechly. I'm just kidding. No. I mean, like, we had our like. I wouldn't hate Brian Flores. I don't know. I don't have a specific head coach in mind. It just needs to be a change of scenery. It needs to be a change of scenery across the board. New entire coaching staff coming in. Head coach, DC, OC. I would have loved Sean McDermott. You know, the Bills are just taking everything that was good from that Panthers organization and just look. I mean, we're looking at it right now on Monday night, but I don't have a head coach really. I like Bryce Young. I mean, a lot of people aren't huge on Bryce Young. Just like there's doubts about Bryce Young because you watch the game like Texas, you're like, what? Like, why can he not do it? There's sometimes you're like, why can he not do it? But he is so calm in the pocket and so composed. He's shifty. He can read defenses. He is phenomenal, man. I mean, he's going to be the number one overall draft pick. And if he's a Carolina Panther, man, oh my gosh, sign me up right away. I would go 0-17 this season to get Bryce Young. We need a clean slate so bad. I use the Flex Seal analogy all the time, but we're putting Flex Seal. That's all we're doing. You're paying a credit card off with another credit card. You're not doing anything. And to talk like more rationally and stuff, like, what good does it do keeping Matt Rule for the rest of the season? I just feel like it just makes things worse. It makes players more miserable. I would be so in favor of firing Matt Rule and just promoting Steve Wilkes to interim head coach. There's been a lot of stuff going on in Reddit threads, Twitter threads, all this stuff that the players want Steve Wilkes over Phil Snow in the defensive room. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know. I'm not in the organization. You know, I haven't talked to many beat reporters. That's what's being said, and I would love that. It's got to be a clean slate. I would love to start doing the process.
Let's get some more hope. I understand that. Clean house, get some hope.
There are very few franchises I would I mean, I not rephrase that. I think about 28 out of the 32 franchises I would take their spot over where the Panthers are.
Really?
It's close to that. If Matt Rule is still around, then yes. I wouldn't. And David Tepper's shown he's not a serious owner. I don't know what it is. I don't know.
Turmoil
I'm
of
just
a Panthers fan.
I'm rambling at this point, so I know it's kind of annoying. I hope you skipped ahead through that. But anyhow, yeah, Panthers suck. Panthers suck. Panthers suck. Panthers suck. Panthers. I hate sports. I hate sports so much. I just hate sports, man. Let's close shop here. Let's talk. Let's preview some NFL lines real quick. Okay, we're gonna just quickly run through some NFL lines real quick. Let's start off Thursday night game. Browns -4.5 against the Steelers. Over under 38.5. Just initial thought. I like the over.
I told myself after the Vikings-Eagles game, done with taking primetime overs. It's miserable. They're now like, I think the unders are like 7-0, 8-0 now in prime, or maybe it
No,
depends what
no,
number you
it's
got for the
it's
Titans, but
yeah.
uh, 5-star play. 5-star play, Steelers Browns over 38.5. The Browns have scored over 20 in each of their games. This Steelers defense is nothing to write home about. And, the Steelers offense might have some troubles, but the Cleveland Browns defense hasn't looked great. So over 38.5 is my take at first glance. Also, if I had to pick a side, I like the Browns minus 4.5.
Yeah, I don't like either side. I wouldn't even. I do like the over 38.5. Let's keep running through this. Chiefs at the Colts. Chiefs are minus 6.5 on the road. Over under is 49.5. We talked about this briefly before, but Colts plus 6.5. I love because it seems like the Chiefs are just the sucker play. Already 90% of bets and the money are on the Chiefs already.
Yep, Colts big time. I think they could probably win this game. Don't have a bad roster, and it's a sucker game. And anybody that they're going to see Chiefs favored by less than a touchdown against an 0-2 team, and they're going to take the Chiefs. So I'm with you. Colts plus 6.5. Sprinkle money line.
And I like how this is in Indianapolis. Did Indianapolis start both their games on the road? Yeah, they did. This is the home opener, week 3. Oh my gosh.
Homecoming,
I
baby.
love Colts plus 6.5. All right. Bengals at the Jets. Bengals minus 4.5, over under 45. Nobody knows if Zach Wilson's playing or not. So I wouldn't take a side in this one. It feels like I would go Bengals, but like, this is probably a stay away.
I'm going if I had to take something under 45.5, but I probably won't.
Yeah, stay away. Ravens at the Pats. There's a lot of road favorites this week. Ravens at the Pats. Ravens minus 3, over under 43. Love the Ravens in this one. Love the Ravens. They're not gonna blow that again. Pats coming off a win. I know it's Belichick at home as a dog. Belichick at home as a dog doesn't count when they're not as good. The Ravens are just. I think the Ravens are just flat out better. I think the Ravens are just so much better. It doesn't help that 94% of money and the bets are on the Ravens already.
Yeah, this line seems way too short and the total seems way too high. That's my first two
It
instincts.
opened at a pick 'em.
Oh, yeah. I guess sounds like a lot of public money might have came in on the Ravens. I don't know. To me, this Ravens should be favored by more. Total should be lower. So the contrarian in me kind of wants to say like over, but I'll probably stay away.
I kind of like the under 43 in this one, but yeah. But we'll see. We'll talk about we'll get way into these lines and previews and everything on Thursday night, posted Friday morning. Lions at the Vikings. Vikings are still a touchdown favorite even after tonight.
Where are you seeing that?
On Action.
Wow. Okay.
This makes me love. This says the line screens Vikings, right?
Yeah, line would scream Vikings. I took the Lions plus 7 before the game.
Over under 53.
See, I like the under there because I think that Hutchinson and the defensive line can pressure Kirk Cousins, and Cousins is not the type to scramble. He's a tuck and fall guy.
Yeah. Man, that screams take the Vikings. Vegas is begging you to take the Lions, but it screams take the Vikings. I'm just gonna put myself into a pretzel. Texans at the Bears. Bears are minus 3, over unders 40.5. I do the Texans cover 3 weeks in a row?
Gross game. I would go under here. You see those two teams.
I'm not touching this. Not touching this. I will not let myself touch this. But I would lean the Texans, but like I never want to be laying 3 points on the Bears. I don't care who they're playing.
Yeah, you're right there. That game is gross. Looks gross to me.
Saints at the Panthers. Saints are minus 3 on the road, and over under is 40.5. I mean, it sucks to say this. I like the Panthers plus 3. We usually play the Saints well early on in the season at home. And I just don't think the Saints are that good. But who knows? The Panthers suck too, so I can't really say anything.
Depends what kind of day Jameis is going to have. This is actually the game that I'm slated to write about, and at first glance, I like the under. Panthers have not proven to me that they can move the ball, and the Saints really haven't either. So, and the Panthers defense, I know we've been crapping on the Panthers. Defense really isn't that bad.
No,
Not a lot of
but
missed tackles.
like I was saying before, defense, and I think the locker room's slowly getting lost, maybe quickly getting lost. Who knows? Bills after tonight are -5 at the Dolphins. Over under 51.5. Man, it is so hard not to love the Bills in this one. Like after watching tonight, but then you watch yesterday, and then the over under is 51.5. I kind of lean under there. I feel like Tua is gonna get a little reality check this game. I feel like we're gonna do this game with Tua all year where we just flip flop, flip flop, flip flop. Where it's like first game we're like Tua sucks, he's not that good, and then the second game we're like Tua is the man, Tua is gonna win MVP, and then this game they just absolutely stink it up. They're like Tua is not the guy, Tua sucks, and then they're gonna play the Bengals week 4, and then all of a sudden it's gonna be Tua's back. Like I think we got Tua. I think it's just gonna be a flip flop thing.
Miami hasn't played well, I guess the Patriots have a decent defense, but I don't think they've played a defense like the Bills yet. Getting 5 points at home, I would lean under the total there, and I think I would actually kind of lean the Dolphins, even though I just kind of contradicted myself. The Bills can't keep this going on forever. I mean, they just can't.
That's true.
Being a 5-point favorite away,
Or maybe they just can. Maybe they just can. Maybe they're just like the 2017 Warriors, just putting up points, or like the Chiefs when they won the Super Bowl. Maybe they just can.
Yeah.
Eagles at the Commanders. Eagles are -4, and over under is 51. Golly, Lord forgive me, but I love the Commanders +4 here at home.
Yeah, the Commanders have not. I don't know if I'd take a side. I like the under there. I mean,
I don't love it, but why do I like? I kind of like the Commanders +4.
That's the thing about doing this so early is, Carter, we have all week. We have all week to just sit back and watch the line move.
But I'll say I kind of like the Commanders +4 to start out. Total, I guess I'd lean over, but 51's a lot of points in the NFL. Vegas at the Titans. Wow. You see the line on this one?
No, I can't get an updated line anywhere.
The Tennessee Titans are +1. Vegas is -1 on the road. Over under 45.5. Woo.
I'm already, even prior to this game, I placed these before the Monday night game. I'm heavy on the over, and I have a unit on the Titans to win. I don't know. We talked about the Raiders defense a little bit. Not looking great this year. Titans, Lord knows they can't stop anybody. I like the over there big time, 45.5.
We saw what Diggs did tonight. I think we might see the same thing out of Devontae Adams. I lean Raiders in the over. Jags at the Chargers. Sneaky game of the week. I'll say it. I think this is the one I'm looking forward to most.
Best one on that slate. Best one on the 4:00 slate.
Absolutely. And I'm kind of looking forward to this one the most. Chargers, a 7-point favorite at home to the Jaguars. Over under is 47.5. This is a game where I'm just like, just take the over and have fun.
I don't know if the over there is fun, because I could see the Jaguars scoring 3 points.
But I could also see the Jaguars just putting up. I could see this just being a weird shootout. I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe I'll just lose all my picks like I did last weekend.
It's the beauty of the game, baby.
Green Bay at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Buccaneers are -2.5. Over under is 41. Gross.
Yeah,
Gross.
I've never liked this matchup. No.
This is another one. This is another game we always get. It's always the Fox afternoon primetime game, and it always sucks.
Yeah, under here for me. That'd be at first glance.
Maybe the play is like, if someone gets like whoever scores first, just take their spread, even though like it may be inflated, because they're just gonna blow them out like they do every year in this matchup. I don't know. I won't. I don't like it a lot this week in the NFL. I don't. But if I had to say, over. Rams at the Cardinals. Rams -4. Over under 50.5. Another stay away for me. I'm not touching anything in this.
Yeah, at first glance, small-minded Dylan thinks over. Big-minded Dylan says wait till Thursday.
Yeah, or just like or just like not touch it at all. Falcons at the Seahawks. Seahawks -2. Over under is 42. I like the over. I like the over in this one.
Wow, you do really?
I like the over. The Falcons are frisky, man. The Falcons are frisky. I just don't know. To be honest, I don't know if the Seahawks can score points. That's my only concern.
That would be mine. Is the Seahawks? I can see the Seahawks. The Seahawks are a team.
They're averaging 12 points a game.
In my mind, I don't know why, but I always see them ending with like 9 points. An odd number, like 9 points or something. I grabbed the Falcons actually at +3, and it's gotten down to +1.5. Bold prediction: I think the Falcons end up being a favorite by the time this game kicks off. I like the Falcons here.
I think you're 100% right on that one. Yeah, I think you're 100% right. 49ers, the Jimmy Garoppolo led 49ers -1 at the Denver Broncos on Sunday Night Football. Over under is 46. I think I go Broncos here.
This is under all day. These west side of America games. Oh my gosh, this deserves the defense hat. Because Russell hasn't proved that he can cook anywhere other than Seattle. And even when he visited Seattle with a new team, he couldn't cook. And then Jimmy Garoppolo, we know how that 49ers team goes. We saw it all last year. We saw it 2 years ago. Under 45.5 for me.
Yeah. I don't total. Let's stay away. I kind of lean under. Dallas at the Giants. Over under is 39.5, and the Giants are -2.5 at home. I hate this is another game I hate every year. I hate it. I hate when it's on Monday Night Football. And I'll go. You know what? The only play in this one is just bet the +200 that there will be or +300 or whatever the odds are, that there will be a defensive / special teams touchdown in this one.
I
kind of love that.
I can see Cooper Rush getting picked off.
Or Daniel Jones strip sack fumble return, like some one of those weird touchdowns are happening in that game. I hate this game. I hate NFC East divisional games. I hate them. I hate when they're on my TV, and I hate when I have to play the game.
Very gross game. I got the Cowboys when they were at +3 still. I think they win the game. The Giants are due for some regression. If it weren't for those 2 fumbles, a couple of slip-ups, and really both the Titans game and the Panthers game, they don't win the games. The Giants, don't let the record fool you. They're not that good. They got lucky 2 games in a row. They're not going to get lucky for a third, and the Cowboys win this game, even with Cooper Rush at quarterback.
All right, that's enough of the NFL. Let's talk some college football. All right, let's do a quick week 3 recap. I think we should start this off as an apology from me. I put my heart on the line, put my money where my mouth is, or whatever the phrase is. UTSA game of the year. And, I was driving through miserable Oregon, watching on my phone, and third quarter, I'm in a spot with no internet. No signal. Didn't even get to see. I phone's basically off. Can't even get text messages. Nothing's coming through. And all of a sudden, my phone gets signal again. I just see pick 6, touchdown, Texas again. Then all of a sudden, they're up 21. The cover's gone. It's over. That sucks. I mean, that just sucks. Like, the thing is, whenever you're like, this is 5-star game of the year, all that, you're so confident you can't even like fathom the thought of losing. And then when it actually loses, you're like, whoa, like,
yeah,
no, well, this is my life. Like, it was so. Saturday was an awful day. I mean, I even took Nebraska +11. Why?
I'm with you there. That I was feeling really dumb by halftime of that game. That was one. Well, the line opened at 14. The line was telling you to take Nebraska. It opened at 14, got down to 11.
Yeah, the line.
It was just a big old loser.
Vegas got obliterated in that game. It was on every money line parlay. 90% of the bets were on Oklahoma every which way. And you're like, oh, whenever you see 90%, you have to take Nebraska. Nobody put into effect that Nebraska is the worst team in college football. Them and Hawaii would have a great game.
So maybe pump the brakes on the Hawaii slander because Michigan did play them. We need the points for the
and Hawaii did win. Hawaii did win against Duquesne.
There we go, baby.
So,
A minor
moving up in
setback
the
for a
world.
major comeback.
Real quick, run through these real quick. Michigan dominated or whatever. Georgia won 48-7. Spencer, I mean, Georgia's very good, but I mentioned it before the season when I talked to Big Game Boomer and did some college football previews. Spencer Rattler's not good. When are we going to accept this fact that he's not a good quarterback?
Way overhyped at the beginning of last year. I agree with you completely. And I think I'm not ready yet, but I'm very close to being ready to say that I was wrong about Georgia. I think I might have been wrong about Georgia.
I think I wasn't super high on Georgia. I was like, yeah, they may be good. They're effing good. Notre Dame beats Cal, get their first
Finally.
win. So good for them, I guess. Penn State obliterated Auburn. My gosh.
Yeah, they'll finish. I don't know.
Alabama couldn't cover in the first half. What happened in the Iowa game? I didn't even look.
The Iowa game went under. It finished like 10-7 or something, and I can tell my children that I got to see Spencer Petras or whatever play on Sunday because of the rain delay. I think it finished at like 1 or 2 a.m.
Yeah, no. Rest in peace to the because I was sitting there thinking I was on Saturday. I was like, okay, now that Nebraska lost, because I had my three favorite plays were Nebraska plus 11, Fresno State plus 12.5, and then what was the other one? Obviously UTSA plus 13.5, 13, whatever I had it at, and I think it might have been 12.5. I don't know, but anyhow. Once I saw Nebraska get its doors blown off, I'm like, oh, okay, good. We just got the plus 11, 12. We got that one out of the way. That means these other two are due to hit. They're gonna hit. Then UTSA just goes out, just doesn't cover. And like, okay, well, Fresno, you got this one, guys. This one's all yours. And then of course the quarterback just gets hurt, and then Fresno loses by 1,000. So Vegas got destroyed in college football on Saturday. But then they went big. Then I do my small plays on Washington. I'm like, oh, Washington, this is a rat line. I'll do this. Or
Yep.
NC State. I'm like, NC State, minus 10. This game should be like, NC State should easily win this game. Anyhow, yeah, no. Fresno got destroyed. What are you going to say? USC is the most fun team to watch in college football.
Okay, this I do have a serious question for you about this. I actually wrote it down. If you had to pick right now a team that is most likely to make the college football playoff, are you taking USC or are you taking Oklahoma?
Ooh.
6 and 7.
USC.
USC. I think
I
flip back and forth.
Only because I think someone in the Big 12 is going to get Oklahoma. But
That's
you know
true,
what
yeah.
But you know what I'm not opposed to? What if there's no Big 10 teams in the college football playoff?
Yeah, right. Are you serious right now?
Think about this. What if Michigan blows it?
Okay.
What if Ohio State 1 or 2 losses? I could see Ohio State getting 1 or 2 losses. I could see Michigan getting 1 or 2 losses. If this happens, Big 10 cannibalizes itself. We might see Oklahoma, USC, Georgia, Bama. Georgia, Bama are locks. Georgia, Bama are making the college football playoff unless Bama loses somehow in the regular season to like Tennessee and then loses in the SEC title game. But they're going to put Bama in at 1 loss, Georgia in at 1 loss, and then you're kind of fighting for those 2 spots right there. I think USC, USC is going to have to play Utah. USC sneaky, their biggest test is going to be Oregon State. Oregon State's not bad.
They really are. I remember watching them week 1 and I was impressed with them. I forget who they played. Maybe Fresno State.
They're dropping like 60 a game.
Yeah, they're doing pretty well. Carter, I don't know. I see what you're saying. That's just tough. I think that you're going to have the winner from the East. I guess if you have a winner, a Big Ten winner
USC,
from
Oregon's
the West,
this week. Oregon State's this week. That might be the game of the week.
if you had a Big Ten winner out of the West, I could see a Big Ten team not getting in. I guess that would be the scenario.
Yeah, and I don't see that happening because the Big Ten West sucks.
Yeah.
But I think that's the only possible scenario. Yeah, because a 1-loss Bama gets in over an undefeated Oklahoma, right?
Man, I guess it depends where the loss came. If they lost in the championship, oh, I don't know. That's tough. It's fun to think about though. It's
Yeah,
tough.
I know. I know. That's a little weird to think about. Okay, real quick, recapping a little bit. Michigan
Michigan
State.
State frauds. Oh,
Michigan
look at
State
that. We're on
frauds.
the same
Yeah,
wavelength.
we knew that.
Who could have thought they had a bad pass defense? Who would have thought?
And that's the classic one. Everybody knew. Like you saw Washington minus 3.5. You're like, oh my gosh, like you have to take Washington. You have to take Washington. Michigan State plus 3.5 is the most sucker bet of all time. Yeah, but back to USC. USC, I mean, it was tragic that over didn't hit just because the quarterback got hurt. Fresno
Yeah.
quarterback stays in, the over hits. Wake barely beat Liberty. That's a game we'll have to talk about. And then last game I'll talk about in college football, or Miami Texas A&M was gross. I didn't get to watch much of it, but it looked gross on my score app.
Like 17-6 or something.
Yeah.
It's gross.
But Oregon, I was at the Oregon game. First off, I'll talk about my experience at Oregon a little bit. Autzen Stadium is sick. Autzen Stadium's unbelievable. They designed that so beautifully because then the noise comes in great and it's steep, but you're close to the field. There's not a bad seat in that arena or in that stadium, and it's a great stadium. A little tight. I wish they would widen them for when the Southerners come up to Oregon. we got to widen the seats a little bit when the Southerners come up. You know, we're not all on a vegan diet. I'll tell you that right now. They ran out of meat in the third quarter. You can't have that happen at a college football game. But no, and then people are freaking out about the F the Mormons chant and all that. BYU got outplayed, outcoached in every aspect of the game. It's just how it went. BYU can't compete with that kind of athleticism. That's the nature of it. I knew this was another one where you knew when you saw the line Oregon minus 3.5, the exact same thing as the Washington game. You're like, oh, Vegas knows Oregon's going to beat BYU. BYU is a higher ranked team coming in, whatever. I knew that was coming in. We talked about it on there. I even wrote it on a blog that it's going to happen. Still disappointing though. BYU taper the expectations a little bit. Independent football sucks balls, dude. It is the absolute worst because every game is just like a meaningless bowl game in a way, unless you're undefeated. Mm-hmm. And then the second you lose one game, every game's the freaking Meineke Car Care Bowl. Like next week we play Wyoming. That might as well be the famous Idaho's Potato Bowl. Then we're playing Utah State, kind of a rivalry game. And then we're playing, Notre Dame this year. Notre Dame might not even be a bowl team.
Yeah, that kind of went downhill quick. After that Ohio State game, I was thinking maybe they were better than what we thought. Yeah, that's tough because that would have been a really fun game to go to with two competitive teams, and it looks like there's only going to be one.
I was going to go to the game. I'm not going. I'm not going.
You're not
going anywhere. Nah.
Oh man,
Not worth it. I've done my road trips. I did an 11-hour car ride to Oregon. I'm doing the Utah State game, and then maybe Arkansas. Maybe we'll see, but that's probably about it. This the problem is, it's like I'm going down to see them play this game. BYU could go 11 and if they go 11-1, they'll make a New Year's Six game. But they're gonna go 10-2, 9-3, and they're gonna play in the Gasparilla Bowl. So who cares?
Bad boy mowers.
Yeah, I wish we had a conference championship to play for or something. But anyhow, that'll do it for week. What is it? 3 recap? Yeah, week 3. Let's do week 4 preview and then let's close up. All right, let's like we did in the NFL, let's do it in college football. Run through some of these lines real quick. Talk about the games. Clemson at Wake Forest, I think, is probably the biggest game of the week. Clemson is minus 7.5 on the road in Winston-Salem. Over under is 56. Unfortunately, as an honorary Wake Forest fan, I like Clemson in this one because we saw Liberty get pressure on Sam Hartman and the Wake Forest offense. When Liberty got pressure, Wake Forest was 5 for 13, turned over the ball multiple times. This Wake Forest team is going to have trouble with an NFL defensive line. I think Clemson, I know it's the golden rule. You should never do it, but teasing Clemson's not the worst thing in the world here.
teasing college football, Carter?
I know.
Oh
That's
my
like
gosh, we're
Satan.
losing you.
I know you are losing me because I can't win. I can't win anything to save my life. Maybe that's why. Maybe just take Wake money line and just win all your money. And I'll just be a sucker taking Clemson on a money line parlay. Um, no, but yeah, I think Wake is going to struggle with Clemson. This is a classic game. Wake doesn't win. Wake doesn't win these games.
Yeah, at first glance, I actually have Clemson Wake Forest under 55.5. I ended up not taking it, but that was what I liked at first glance. Clemson's offense hasn't amazed me. And like you said, Wake Forest, when they face up against a decent defensive line, they've proven that they tend to falter a little bit. So, of course, in classic Dylan fashion, I do lean under there.
There you go. There you go. Florida at Tennessee, the college game day game. Tennessee minus 10.5, over under 62.5. I like Florida here at plus 10.5 because yes, it's a home game. Tennessee, that place is going to be rocking. CBS 3:30 game, just a beautiful game to be. Over under is very high. I lean over, but I like Florida plus 10.5 because people are so down on Florida right now, and rightfully so. And this is a rivalry game. This game gets close. 10 points is too many points.
I know I'm a big Tennessee truther this year, but I do agree with you. I think that Tennessee's defense has a lot left to be desired, and if there's a team or a quarterback that can torch it up, it's going to be Anthony Richardson. So I do like
even
Florida
though
there with
he's looked horrendous these last couple weeks ever since his Heisman performance against Utah. I feel like this is like where people are so down on him, where he's kind of playing with house money and he's going to just play a great game for no reason. And maybe I'll just get burned by that. Who knows? But yeah, give me Florida plus 10.5. We'll talk about it later this week. Moving on, we have Texas minus 6 at Texas Tech, over under 60. Quinn Ewers is not playing in this one. It's Hudson Card. I like Texas Tech in this one. Once again, another rivalry game. I don't think Hudson Card's good at all. Robinson's unbelievable, and that's who you got to stop. If you can stop him, you can stop Texas. And UTSA just couldn't stop Robinson.
Yeah, 6 is a fishy number too. Like we were talking about earlier, 6.5. That's been that number this year, mostly in NFL, but college football too. Don't know much about this game, but at first glance, Texas Tech probably be the play.
Yeah. Arkansas, 10th ranked Arkansas at 23rd ranked Texas A&M. Minus 2.5, over under is 48.5. I kind of lean under there.
Me too. There we go, Carter.
I kind of lean under there. Tell me how Texas A&M is going to score 20 points in this game.
I don't think they do. I really don't think they do.
And Texas A&M's defense is good enough to limit Arkansas below 30, I think. Maybe. I don't know. The spread's a little fishy to me. I think I'll stay away.
The game that I really have my eyes on, Big Ten matchup, Wisconsin, Ohio State. Wisconsin's an 18-point underdog. I don't have the total on me right. Oh, it looks like 56.5 is the total. And the line's actually down to 17.5.
Ohio State's 18-point favorite.
Yes. Ohio State's 18-point favorite. My bad. Wisconsin's the underdog. I like Wisconsin here. I hate to say it, I'm anti-Ohio State. But Ohio State, Wisconsin's known for their defense. I guess Wisconsin might have some trouble getting the offense going, but Graham Mertz hasn't looked awful.
Because my thing is I think Wisconsin used up all of their points against New Mexico State. They scored 66 against New Mexico State. But there's a counter argument to that saying Ohio State used up all their points against Toledo, where they scored 77.
And Ohio State allowed way too many points to Toledo. Way too many points.
So I kind of like under.
Okay, that's fair. 56.5 at first glance seems pretty low for that game. So
yeah.
being contrarian, under does look pretty good there.
Real quick, the Alec Nugent game, NC State minus 39 against Connecticut. Stay away real quick. Just I'll throw it out there. Stay away. The over-under is 50.5, so they expect Connecticut to score 10 points in this one. Stay away. NC State with a 39-point spread after coming off a huge night win against Texas Tech. Just beware. Kansas State at Oklahoma. Oklahoma is minus 13. I kind of like K-State in this one. K-State coming off a bad loss. Oklahoma coming off an easy 49-14 win. I kind of like K-State in this one.
I'm with you there. I think we could see some regression from Oklahoma. Don't think they lose the game, but I don't think it's a blowout either.
And then looking through here, Maryland at Michigan. Michigan is minus 16.5. Over under is 62.5. I don't know. I guess I'd lean Michigan, but like we haven't really. This will be kind of their first test. I mean, 3-0 versus 3-0. Maybe a little over action here on the 62.5.
I haven't watched enough of Maryland this year to know what they have. Is Tua's little brother still the quarterback out there? I think he is.
If we're being honest, I have no clue.
If he is, I like the over.
He is.
I think he's a pretty good quarterback. I wouldn't mind the over there either, especially now that J.J. McCarthy's the starter.
And Maryland's been scoring points against bad. I mean, they've been terrible defenses, but scored 31 against Buffalo, 56 against Charlotte, who might be the worst defense in football. And then SMU, they scored 34. They could. Who's to say they don't put up a nice little like 21, 24 garbage points against Michigan? A little 41-24 action.
I can see that. Looking into my crystal ball, I see that.
Let's see here. And then Bama minus 40 over under 57.5 against Vanderbilt.
I don't know if Vanderbilt's that bad. I don't know if they're that bad.
Bama. I can't get you right. USC at Oregon State. USC minus 6.5. Give me Oregon State plus 6.5. I don't even need to wait till Thursday. I will wait till Thursday to place it though. Oregon State plus 6.5. Over under 69 points. And I like the over initially. I'm gonna wait, but Oregon State plus 6.5, and it'll burn me, and I know it will. But this is a game USC doesn't get up for. USC's not going to get up for an Oregon State game. They don't care about Oregon State.
And Oregon State's home?
Oregon State is home. It is in Corvallis, I believe. Yes, in Corvallis.
I like that too. We're liking a lot of the same stuff, Carter.
I know that maybe this is a very bad sign because I've been poor. Forgot to do the Cougs. BYU minus 22.5 against Wyoming. Over under 51.5. I love BYU in this one. You're going
really
under.
Okay.
I love BYU in this one. I was right about Oregon. Didn't take Oregon because I would never do that. But I love BYU in this one. BYU is going to come out lights out in this one. I see BYU winning this one. No joke, 50-something to like 14. It's going to be a blowout. It's an 8:15 kickoff, so nighttime kickoff. The day game theory,
still alive.
Once again. It's literally like undefeated. It's a fact. 8:15 kickoff. BYU coming off a bad loss. The receiver, at least one of the receivers will be coming back this week. I would take BYU team total. I'm taking BYU everything across the board, no matter what. Even if Puka Nacua and Gunnar Romney aren't playing, I like BYU everything across the board. Bounce back week. BYU doesn't lose 2 in a row.
I like under, maybe Wyoming team total under. Their offense is abysmal. Has to be one of the worst in all of college football. They run the ball pretty well.
That BYU defense got destroyed. The thing is, I just think BYU, the team total for Wyoming, because I think BYU could score 52 points on their own on Saturday. Because you can say this Wyoming defense is good. I mean, they're not. They gave up 37 to Tulsa, and Air Force just stunk the bed. That's what it was. So I'm liking the. Did they play week 1?
Wyoming played Illinois week 1.
They gave up 38 points to Illinois,
and it was all running. Illinois ran the ball down their throats.
BYU is 10 times better than all these offenses they played. BYU might score 52 points on their own. If you're going to take the over in that one, you might just be relying on BYU to score 52 points. I'm not kidding.
Go Cougs.
Go Cougs. Let's go, baby. Anything else?
UTEP plus 15.5 against Boise State. We can talk more about these Thursday, but I like UTEP there, and then Ohio Dominican, Old Dominion versus Arkansas State under 56.5. Old Dominion can't score, but they also do a pretty good job at holding their opponents. So I'm going to take both of those as well.
I actually like that Old Dominion. You want to lie? All right.
18 points a game. 18 points per game.
We need to repent of our bad plays. Terrible weekend. Terrible weekend. Won like four plays. All my teams lost. I don't even care about my plays. I just care about, my teams. If the Panthers would have won, I would have been thrilled. If BYU would have won this weekend, I wouldn't have cared once. And then to save it all, I'm like, okay, well, at least I can hit a game of the year. If I hit a game of the year, fine weekend. I'll take it. No, just go 0 for 1,000. 0 for 1,000 this weekend. Just awful. Next week, we come back. We got, get ourselves out of the trenches, back up. We see the light. We're going towards the light, baby.
A minor setback for a major comeback.
That's what I'm saying. All right. We'll be back on Thursday night. You'll be hearing it Friday morning. I think it'll be a 4-man crew on Thursday. Wow. And then we'll just preview NFL, college football, get really into it, and make sure to follow us on TikTok and Instagram at CarterCast, and then follow Dylan at Wilkerson A. Dillon, follow at CarterCast on Twitter, and at CarterB8 for myself. And check out Dylan's play, his writing assignment for action. It'll be Saints Panthers. Check that out. You hit the Giants one. You hit the Giants one.
3-1 on the Action Network picks. So hopefully we can keep that train rolling, build some credibility.
Absolutely. And make sure to check them out. And when you pull up the article, you'll see it on Twitter or you'll see it on the Action Network app. Scroll the bottom, hit the how does this play? Hit the green check. Hit the green check 1,000 times. Reload it, hit the green check. Reload it, hit the green check. Keep hitting that green check. Keep hitting it for them. And make sure to subscribe. Do what you got to do to help out the podcast, man. We really appreciate it. And I think that'll do it. Make sure to check out blogs and picks on cartercast.com. And we'll see y'all Friday. Bye.